What's up? Jack Toledano speaking for All or Not According to Jack. How's everybody doing? So it looks like it is time for another episode of Concerts Remembered. Yes. Last we spoke, what's it like 10, 11 days ago? I had the great Pete Pardo of Sea of Tranquility on my show. We talked about some great concerts we saw at Bethel Woods in upstate New York, Bethel, New York, uh, near White Lake, I think it is, up in the Monticello area. A lot of fun was had by all. Great time. But tonight we are going to talk about um, some festivals that I've attended in the past. So, without any further ado, let's go right to the PowerPoint. And there we are, festivals. So, I'm not going to waste too much time, but we'll go right to it. There we go. So you see I added my Concerts Remembered book this time. Just keep it as a little decal. Concerts Remembered, 3 times attending music festivals. And for this one, I am going to use my laser pointer. Um, okay, uh, and I thought about this morning. I'm like, you know what? A lot of these, there's a lot of recollections, a lot of like going back in time to talk about these. So I figured, why not use an imaginary time machine to go back in time to for these wonderful shows that I attended. Question is, which time machine do you like best? I saw this one first, but it's just a chair. I like this one with the booth. Of course, there is the Stewie Griffin booth, or there's the Back to the Future DeLorean. Now, a week ago, I went into the city for the KK's Priest and Accept show at 44th and Broadway at a place called the Palladium. And right before I went in there, I walked into the Hard Rock Cafe, which is like 42nd and Broadway or very close to it. And you walk in there was a DeLorean, and I'm thinking to myself, why would they have a DeLorean? Is that their way of poking fun at the new Tesla truck? But to no avail. Little did I know at the time, there's actually going to be a Back to the Future play on Broadway, and that's what they were advertising. So yeah, DeLorean that doubles as a time machine. But anyway, whichever time machine you choose, we are going back to the year 1981 for something called the Roundup. Uh, John F. Kennedy Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So the Roundup, at the time it was conceived, it consisted of the following bands: the Headliners, Allman Brothers, Outlaws, Marshall Tucker, the Rossington Collins Band, and 38 Special. Although the Rossington Collins Band pulled out, and you'll see in a minute who replaced them. I was very happy with who replaced them, but wow, look at the concert ticket prices back in that at that time. So yeah, so this is a typical ticket stub back in the day. Now everything's on our cell phones. No more ticket stubs. Disappointing, but what are you going to do? Okay, next slide. Instead of the Rossington Collins Band, we got Molly Hatchet. I was very happy about that because I really do like Molly Hatchet. This is another stub. This is a Ticketron stub. Uh, this is what RFK Stadium looks like all full. I think this might have been a Rolling Stones concert, but damn, that's like what, 90,000 they packed in there. In any event, so let's move on. And this was a very cool event. I like the it's Southern Rock, uh, whatever the flag was called, the Confederate flag on in the shape of a guitar, guy on a horseback. Well, actually, let's go back and talk about this a little bit. So the roundup, I had just turned 17 years old, and let me tell you something, what a thrill for me. I went with three other friends. When you're 17, you grew up in a house where you don't have a lot of freedom to get out for the full day, taking a train into Manhattan, the Long Island Railroad train, uh, then hopping on the Amtrak train from Penn Station down to Philadelphia, then taking Philadelphia Transit to get to RFK Stadium or JFK Stadium was what a thrill for me. It was so freaking amazing. What a great day. To the set lists. So, granted, I'm trusting people's opinion on what the set lists were back then. The 38 special set list, I can kind of believe they only played 6 songs, songs that I knew. Stone Cold Believer, Hold On Loosely, Wild Eyed Southern Boys, and of course, and we're rocking into the night, rocking into the night. Oh, good set, albeit a short one. Molly Hatchet, I saw that there was like a 5 or 6 song set, but I didn't believe it. So what I did was I grabbed a similar set list that they were playing that year at that time. I do remember them playing some favorites of mine: Bounty Hunter, Gator Country, Jukin City, Boogie No More, which I absolutely love. That was like their free bird at the time. Few and Far Between. They had just got a new lead singer, Jimmy Farrar. Danny Joe Brown had left, and I believe Few and Far Between, Bloody Reunion, Beating the Odds, those were all new songs at that time. Of course, there was Flirting with Disaster, Dreams, another great song. What an amazing set list this was. I would see them again that summer. They were just so damn good. Allman Brothers had a great set list. Uh, Granted, at the time, I didn't know a lot of these songs, but I knew Blue Sky, Statesboro Blues, One Way Out, Whipping Post, Midnight Flyer, Midnight Rider, Ramblin' Man, The Outlaws. They were the fourth band that went on. I do remember, and when I get to the certain song, we'll talk about it. Songs that I remember them playing: Hurry Sundown. Uh, I didn't know a lot of their set at the time. There Goes Another Love Song. When they played Ghost Riders in the Sky, everybody went nuts because that was the big hit at the time. Of course, their Freebird, the 10, 12 minute plus Green Grass and High Tides that they closed with. Yet another great set. So, which brings us to the very last band that played on this day, Marshall Tucker Band. Now, somebody put up that they played a 5 song set, which I found that hard to believe. So, what I did was I went and I found set lists from September 1st, one from August 4th of that same summer. And these were some of the songs they played. This I would tend to believe more. You go back. What did the Allman Brothers play? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14 songs. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 12 songs, although one of them's like a 10 to 14 minute jam. So, yeah. Marshall Tucker being the last band to go on stage, or I guess the quasi headliner. I had to believe that they played more than just five freaking songs. So, give you a minute to look at the set list before we move on. Before we get back in the time machine to our next um, festival that I attended. And next festival, we're going to fast forward to 2005, Strange Days Festival. Uh, this is at my very own Jones Beach Amphitheater, Wantagh, New York, down at the end of very bottom of the Wantagh Parkway, and meets with at what they call the Jones Beach Pencil, and connects to Ocean Parkway, which goes along that Barrier Island, which leads you to Fire Island. But it's so funny. So last Monday, I was a guest on the Hudson Valley Squares, and very own George LeMay asked me the question. Of course, everybody was put on the hot seat, and one of my hot seat questions was, "Do I like Jones Beach Amphitheater better, or the what the hell is it? Uh, oh my God, I can't think of the name of it now. Uh, oh man, it's where Woodstock was. the Oh man, any event. Hopefully, it'll come back to me in a minute. Uh, Bethel Woods. That's it. I hate these brain freezes. You go on Hudson Valley Squares and you get a case of the olds. What could I tell you? So so they asked me the question, was it Jones Beach did you prefer, or Bethel Woods? And at the time I said Bethel Woods, and you want to know something? As an honest answer, I can say yes. I can say Bethel Woods because you want to know something? I'm a person who likes to get away from home. Whereas Jones Beach, I consider more home because it's literally a 10-minute drive down to the beach from where I am. And I like to get away. I like to travel. So getting to Bethel Woods was a sense of travel for me because that's easily a 2.5 hour ride from here in mid Nassau County. Um, it's a beautiful place, and I saw some great shows there. I saw the Eagles, Leonard Skinner, um, Bad Company, um, Steve Winwood, Steely Dan. I've seen some great shows here at Jones Beach as well. Uh, what I can't say, and if you look at it, it's a really beautiful facility. And one thing I didn't mention last week was when I saw Judas Priest with Queensryche, Jeff Tate standing on that stage. He's looking around and he's saying, you people have a really beautiful facility here, surrounded by water. There were even sharks in this water. This is Zach's Bay, by the way. Uh, Another funny story. There's like a snack bar and a beach. I bought a hamburger. Freaking seagull swooped down and snatched my hamburger. Another reason I like Bethel Woods better. No seagull's gonna steal my hamburger from Bethel Woods. All right, but I digress. Really is a beautiful facility. On this day in mid-June 2005, so the Strange Day Festival. I was actually sent there on assignment. I was writing for Pete Pardo and the Sea of Tranquility at the time. Uh, so and it was really nice. I got in for free to the show. Unfortunately, there was a ticket mishap and I couldn't get in time. So I missed the Pat Travers band. That was the first band that went on. I walked in just as Yardbirds hit the stage, one of the bands I really wanted to see. Uh, we'll get to their set list. Vanilla Fudge played, John Kay and Steppenwolf, and this was a dream come true for me. seeing the Doors in any form, in this case, they were known at the time as the Doors of the 21st century. So it wasn't Jim Morrison, it was a Jim Morrison lookalike, and I'll elaborate on that in a little bit. Well, let's look at set lists for the Strange Days Festival. Pat Travers, which I missed, 7 songs he played. The Yardbirds, Train Kept a Rollin' as I walked in the door, Heart Full of Soul, Shapes of Things, Over, Under, Sideways, Down, da 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 da. For Your Love, Dazed and Confused, and I'm a Man. So great set list. That was a dream come true seeing the Yardbirds. Vanilla Fudge. Uh, Basically, they're a band that they they just basically play all how would you say, basically just covers. They did a drum solo. Um, I don't really know much of what. Oh, She's Not There. I know that song. Love the version by the Zombies, of course. Season of the Witch, the Donovan song, and then You Just Keep Me Hanging On. I mean, they did a nice version. Uh, about the best thing I loved about Vanilla Fudge, that Hammond organ. Absolutely loved it. Great sound. And of course, they had the Leslie cabinet. Actually, they and both Steppenwolf used the Leslie cabinet. Steppenwolf, they could have chose a better song to open with than Suki Suki. Rock Me Baby, pretty cool. Uh, Magic Carpet Ride, it was pretty cool when John Kay went over, took his Rickenbacker, pressed his body up against the amplifier to get that extra distortion and feedback. Beginning of Magic Carpet Ride, then of course Born to Be Wild. Um, I'm going to stop for a second and basically at that time there is a Sea of Tranquility article which I wrote for Pete and the Sea of Tranquility. I'll stop sharing and let's reshare to where is it? Uh, I'll find it. I can't find it. No, no, cannot minimize. Okay. Um, all right. I'm gonna have to pause for a second. Be right back. All right. So now I'm gonna show you the article briefly. Let's go there. And here we are. So this is the article that I put up for Sea of Tranquility's Jack Toledano reports with his full coverage of the event. Fortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, uh, I was unable to get my complimentary tickets in time, so I missed Pat Travers. Um, but as you can see, he played. I met some photographer who was very gracious and shared her photos with me. Very nice of her, Randy Sevron, I believe. Um, I met this guy. He actually, what's his name? Vinny Martelli of Vanilla Fudge. He actually walked out into the crowd. And the funny thing is, I went over and said hello, and I guess he thought I was some kind of fanboy because he kind of almost gave me the brush and like, yeah, whatever. So, you know what? Um, I thought that it's funny. It's like he gave me the brush off, but then I handed him, I had a business card for Sea of Tranquility at the time, and I handed it to him. Takes a look at it. He's like, "Oh, Press, nice to meet you. How you doing?" Wonderful. At the time, I did give him 5 out of 5 stars. Um, John Kane Steppenwolf, 3 out of 5. You'll have to read the article. Uh, so getting back to the festivals, other than old favorites, Rock Me Baby, Magic Carpet Ride, there was not much worth writing about, as Steppenwolf played too much obscure and new material, not in keeping with the spirit of the Strange Days Festival. Uh, addition, I found that their sound mix was below par, blah, blah, blah. Uh, their bassist was mixed a little too high. Um, lastly, the Doors. At the time, I gave them 4 stars. Only thing that prevents me from giving the Doors 5 stars was the fact that I thought their set was a bit short considering all the great music they made years ago. But I got to tell you, it was reflecting back on it, it was a dream come true being able to see them. So I'll stop sharing. So I'm going to reshare the PowerPoint. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And where were we? Let's find out where we were. Yes, we were. So going back to the Strange Days Festival. Come on, current slide. Get me back there. Why doesn't this thing want to? Resume slideshow. Is that what it was? Oh man, this thing is being. Oh man, this thing is just not cooperating. Start slideshow. Let's try it again. All right, we'll have to do it this way. It's being temperamental. Don't know why it's doing that, but in any event. So, the Doors, Peace Frog, Break On Through, Whiskey Bar, Back to Our Man, 5 to 1, Touch Me, LA Woman, Roadhouse Blues, Light My Fire. What a great set list. Like I said, it was a dream come true. You had Ray Manzarek, who was alive at the time, Robbie Krieger, the guitar player. They had a bass player. Um, they had a, a Jim Morrison lookalike who never said a word to the crowd. Ray Manzarek did all the talking, being the elder statesman of the band. But what a great show. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if I can. Come on, why isn't this doing this? Ah, so irritating. Let's go to home. Let's go back to slideshow. I can't understand why it's not allowing me to. Uh, let's stop sharing. I gotta try it again. Share. Oh, there we go. Oh, that explains it. Okay, so we're still open to that. I'll get better at this as we go along. Okay, so this is where we left off. It was still open. That's why I couldn't open it a second time. Okay, gotcha. Got my pointer back. Okay, so the next one, and the time machine didn't move the needle very far, as took us to August 23rd, 2005. Gigantor. I remember when I was in second grade, was it? I was Gigantor was very popular in my grade school, and we all would sit there and would draw little pictures of Gigantor. And one day I drew a picture and I'm flying him around the classroom, and I got in trouble with my teacher. So it's so funny how many years later, Dave Mustaine of Megadeth came up with the concept of having a concert festival and calling it Gigantor. So the bands that played, so I only remember Megadeth, Dream Theater, Anthrax was not there. That may have been a different Gigantor. Fear Factory, Nevermore, Life of Agony, My Very Own Symphony X, Dry Kill Logic, Boba Flex, again at the Jones Beach Amphitheater. This time I took my daughter Sam to see this show. These are some these are the set lists. I remember liking Life of Agony, and I had never heard of them before. I thought they were quite good. Nevermore was pretty decent. Symphony X I loved, of course. You know, very short set list. They only got to play for about, what, 35 minutes? Damn shame. They played on the small stage, but I was literally right there to watch them. Love those guys. Inferno, Evolution, Wicked, King of Terror, Sea of Lies, Of Sins and Shadows, Nothing Long. At the time, they were the Odyssey was the album that they were touring. So Inferno, Wicked, King of Terrors were the songs they played off of that album. Last but not least, Fear Factory. Don't know a darn thing from them. Dream Theater, I was really looking forward to. 13-Minute Glass Prison. Panic Attack, probably one of my very favorite songs by Dream Theater. Never Enough, Endless Sacrifice, great songs. In the Name of God, of course, their most famous song, Pull Me Under. Pull me under, I'm not afraid. And of course, Megadeth. My daughter Sam, who went with me to the show, and I were really tired. So, and at the time, I didn't really know too much Megadeth. They would grow on me years later, but I was a little tired, so we just left midway through the set. But songs that I recognize: Skin in My Teeth, Hangar 18, Sweating Bullets, great tune. Symphony of Destruction, probably my favorite song. Of course, there's Peace Sells and Holy Wars. So that was that. Concerts Remembered, a concert journal. So stop sharing. All right. I apologize about the mishap, folks. Uh, as I'm still learning the tool and how to use it, I didn't realize that if you already have it open in slideshow mode, it's not going to open for you a second time. Disappointing, to say the least, but you know what? It's late and I'm not going to re-record, so I really hope you enjoyed my latest Concerts Remembered. I have some other really good ones scheduled in the near future, so stay tuned. My next episode, not going to do a shirt change. We are going to talk about the re-release of Judas Priest's Rock'n'Rolla. So stay tuned for that. Have a good one, folks. If you like what I do, please subscribe. This is Jack Toledano speaking for Roll or Not, according to Jack. Have a good one.